everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial on this look. This is a spring peach type inspired makeup look because I wanted to use my brand new Too Faced Sweet Peach eyeshadow palette. Look how pretty it is. And I also wanted to use my brand new Kat Von D Lock-It foundation, my new Luminous blush by Becca, my new highlighter by Urban Decay, new, other than my lips, which are a mixture of MAC lipsticks. Thank you Snapchat family for picking it for me. So yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoy this makeup look. And yes, there is a pop of glitter. I seem to have become obsessed with putting glitter on my lower inner lash line. It just really makes any kind of makeup look really stand out. So yeah, so this is my peach type makeup look. I hope that you guys all enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for all your wonderful comments. Thank you for following me on all different types of social media. For my face of the days that I always put on Instagram, thank you for following me on there, on Snapchat, Twitter and everything. I just want to say, because I don't always get a chance to say it, thank you all so much. It always means so much to me, especially because my followers are my homies. You guys are the best and not much else I can say other than I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and I'll see you all soon. Bye. Hello! So I'm going to be priming my eyes with Urban Decay's Primer Potion, which I already kind of did and forgot to press record. And then I'm priming my face with the Nivea Post Shave Balm thingy, whatever it's called. It's got such a long name. Anyway, my foundation is my new Kat Von D Lock-It foundation, and I have applied 2 pumps of this all over my face. This gives me full coverage. It's a full coverage foundation, but 2 pumps is generally what I need to cover my whole face. Then I'm using my Real Techniques stippling brush, which was a bit of a mistake because this is a really thick foundation. I found afterwards, obviously, that using my beauty blender is the way to go for this, because as you can see, it's taking a really long time to blend, and even though it was a brand new clean brush, my brush started getting clogged up with the foundation and then it leaves streaks. So use a beauty blender, just kind of ignore what I did. And then I'm going to be concealing under my eyes with my Makeup Forever Ultra HD concealer, just to cover up any dark circles that I've got going on under my eyes, obviously. And then I'm going to be highlighting the high points of my face using my MAC Prep and Prime in the shade Light Boost, as always, to my nose and all the other random areas. Okay, and I'm using a damp beauty blender to blend this all out. Then to set the concealer and highlighter, I'm using my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I use the top 3 shades under my eyes, then I use the 2 lighter shades on my nose and forehead and everywhere else, because I only tend to use the color correcting powder underneath my eyes because I don't need to do it in the other places. Then I'm using my MAC Studio Fix powder foundation, and I am setting my foundation with my Sigma F30 powder brush. God, I'm forgetting what I'm using. You know, I've got bad memory sometimes. And now for the eyes, I'm using the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, and I'm using the shade White Peach, and I'm applying it to both of my eyelids and eyes, completely covering them with the Sigma E40 taper blending brush. This is just to give a nice matte base to the eyes and to cover the primer, just so that there's no sticky bits or anything. Then I'm using this shade called Georgia, and I'm applying it as a transitional shade in my crease area with a MAC 224 brush. I had to go in, I'd say, about 2-3 times with this shade to really build up the color, as it's not that pigmented and it's very soft, but still it gives a really nice really natural kind of transitional shade if you want to use orange but you don't want something too full on. Then I'm using the shade Candied Peach, which is full on, as if I was going to just leave it neutral. You must be joking. And then I'm applying it to the crease area with a Zoeva 228 brush, blending backwards and forwards to make sure that there are no harsh lines. then I'm going back in with a little bit more Georgia, again just to blend backwards and forwards to make sure that there are no harsh lines between those two shades that I just applied, so that they blend from dark to medium to kind of light as a really nice gradient. Then I'm using the shade Bellini and I'm applying it all over the lid with a Sigma E55 eye shading brush. Then for the brow bone, I'm using the shade Peaches and Cream and I'm applying it to the brow bone with a MAC 227 fluff brush. This is a very matte brow bone shade, so it's not too in your face. And then again, blend out with a 224 to make sure that there are no harsh lines between the two shades. Now I'm using the Groomer brush by Makeup Addiction Cosmetics. This is what I generally just use to kind of tidy up my eyebrows, get rid of any eyeshadow or foundation that may have landed on them, and to prep them to have my eyebrows done. Then I'm using the Dipbrow in the shade Chocolate by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I am doing my eyebrows as I always do. I outline the top and then I start to fill in from underneath. And then I'm going back in with that same groomer brush just to tidy up my brows, to disperse any product and just basically tidy them up to make sure that they look nice and neat and they're not too dark or light in certain areas. And then I'm using the Tinted Brow Gel, also in the shade Chocolate, to set my brows. This brow gel is pretty good, but I've actually found a better one, which I'll tell you about another time. And now I am lining my eyes as always with the L'Oreal Superliner Perfect Slim in the shade Intense Black. And then for mascara at the moment, I'm using L'Oreal Paris False Lash Sculpt. Just apply it to your top lashes to prep for your fake eyelashes. And the ones that I'm using today are the House of Lashes in Iconic with some duo glue. Then I'm using the shade Summer Yum, again from the Too Faced palette, and I'm applying it to my lower lash line with a Sigma E30 pencil brush, just to give a little bit of a change from the orange shades above. But this is a really gorgeous deep warm caramel sort of color, so it's really nice to also use in the crease if you wanted to, but I didn't want to. And now I'm using on my lower lash line, what am I using? Oh yeah, my Rimmel Scandaleyes Kohl Kajal in dark black. And now for my tear duct, I'm using the shade Luscious and I'm applying it with a MAC pencil brush to brighten up the eyes. However, that wasn't enough of a highlight for me, so I am using the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in the shade Midnight Cowboy, and I'm applying it to my lower inner lash line, which I have become obsessed with doing recently. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen me do this quite a few times with a load of different colours. I'm just obsessed with this way of applying glitter without having to go too overboard and without it being too in your face. And then just coat your bottom lashes with mascara just to finish off the eyes, and voila, we are done. We are done. What do we think? A little bit of a flutter? Yeah, why not? Why not? Alright, now let's get on with the face. And to contour my cheekbones, I'm using my new Urban Decay Beached Bronzer in the shade Bronzed, which is part of their summer collection. And I'm contouring my face with the F40 Angled Contour Brush by Sigma. This is a really nice warm bronzer, so I'm really bronzing up my face, my forehead, sides of my forehead, underneath my cheekbones, as well as my nose as well. I'm really quite happy with the shade of this. There is only 2 shades, which is a bit annoying, but this one seems to work well for me. Now I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I am carving out my cheekbones with this with the Morphe M459 brush. This is my kind of delicate way of baking. I don't even leave it on my face that long. I literally just do this just to carve out my contour, to tidy it up, to make it look a little bit sharper and a little bit neater. And I also do it down the center of my nose because obviously I'm using quite a fat brush to contour my face, and there is the chance of overlapping and completely covering your nose. And then I'm using the same Real Techniques contour brush just to wipe it all off very softly. It was on my face for probably 30 seconds maximum before I wipe it off. I don't tend to leave it on too long. Now I'm using my brand new Becca Snapdragon Luminous blush from their mineralized, not mineralized skin finish, their Shimmering Skin Perfectors, that's it, from that range. And I'm using a MAC 129 blush brush to apply it to my cheekbones. Now I'm just tidying up my face a little bit, like you should always do, just in case you've gone overboard anywhere. Now I'm using the new Urban Decay Afterglow 8-hour highlighting powder from Urban Decay, which I already said, in the shade Sin, and I'm using a Morphe M501 brush to apply it to the tops of my cheekbones so that my highlight is on fleek. This one, out of all of the three highlighting powders, is probably the best one and probably the most wearable one as well, and I'm really quite happy with it. And lastly, to finish off the lips, I'm using a very scabby, smelly looking Rimmel London lip liner in the shade Epic. Mine had actually gone off and I didn't realise this until I was putting it on, and internally I am gagging at the smell of it. Don't be silly like I was and use old makeup. And then on my lips, for the lipstick, I'm using a mix of MAC's Meher lipstick, which I haven't used in such a long time. Oh my god, you guys, I've totally been neglecting my MAC lipsticks ever since liquid lipsticks came out, which is one of the main reasons I actually used this in this video. Plus, I didn't have a really kind of pinky, peachy sort of a lipstick, so I really just wanted to create my own, and this one is an amazing one to start off with. And then on top of it, and to mix it in, I used the shade Shy Girl, which is more of a peachy nude shade, but because it's got a cream sheen finish and the other lipstick is matte, it really blends nicely together to give not a matte sheen, but it gives like a kind of a glossy lip wear. But because it's got matte lipstick mixed in there as well, it lasts a really long time on the lips. So this is my complete look, you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for your support again as always, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.